my name is Joanna, and we're hanging out in my apartment in St. James. We're about to do a question and answer, and you can ask any question you may have about Bradley, like the Bradley experience, what they're doing on campus. So we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. Like I said, my name is Joanna. I'm a senior sociology and criminal justice major, and I'm from Round Lake, Illinois.
I'm Natalie Trujillo, and I'm a junior now. It's so weird. And I'm a sports communications and Spanish double major with a minor in social media marketing, and I'm from Dalton, Georgia.
I'm Kelsey. I'm a freshman from San Diego, California. I'm majoring in marketing with a concentration in professional selling.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a senior theater and advertising double major from Chicago. All right.
So while we wait for everyone to kind of tune in and ask questions, we can probably go around once more and talk about things we're involved in and why we chose Bradley. So who wants to start?
I'll go ahead and start. So here on campus, I'm a part of Bradley Fellows. I'm also a star, so I can see you around if you come to the admissions office. And then I'm also part of, I used to be a mentor for the Multicultural Peer Mentoring Program, and for the Bradley RNC, I'm on the exec board for that organization as well. And kind of why I chose Bradley, as I said, I'm a sports comm major, but once I started to look at schools, there's only 13 schools in the country at that time, and then from there I was looking at networking and internship opportunities, and Bradley had interns go to the Olympics, so I thought that was really cool, so it really grabbed my attention. And then just coming here and getting to see, talk to the faculty and getting to get a tour of campus, I really felt at home and at ease, even though I'm 700 miles away from home.
All right. So around campus, so I'm a theater major, so if I'm in a show, I'm in 26 hours of rehearsal a week. It's kind of like a part-time job. I do have 4 additional jobs on campus, and among them are being a star, so I'm a tour guide, so I'll see you around campus. I work as the marketing enrollment intern for admissions, as well as an inside star, so you can follow us all on Inside Bradley. And I'm also the marketing and public relations assistant for the theater department. And then additionally, I'm in Greek Life. I'm on the board of Barbecue Kitten, which is the improv troupe on campus. I'm the publicist, and I'm business manager of Alpha Psi Omega, which is a theater honors fraternity. What else? That about sums it up. And I chose Bradley because I came in undecided and had an excellent major for undecided. They kind of help guide you in the right path, and that was incredibly helpful to have that specific major for those who weren't sure what they wanted to do yet. And additionally, it had a theater program where I could participate in it and not be a major, which is super, super, super fun because I wanted to be involved in theater, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to major in it, and then I did in the end. But that was very important to me. And it was a beautiful campus. I wanted a campus as opposed to an urban environment, and nice dorms, which is very important.
So I'm a freshman, so I've only been here for a little bit, and I've already become involved in several different things. I do the American Marketing Association, which is the professional organization on campus for marketing majors, and basically anyone that's interested in communications or PR, stuff like that. And I also do Pinterest Club, which is crafts and fun things. As everyone else here, I'm a star, which is tour guides, and I'm also in the honors program. I chose Bradley, which is kind of a funny story because I'm from so far away from California. I'd never really heard about Bradley before I started my college search, and I started getting mail, and I came out to visit a bunch of schools in the Midwest and East Coast, but Bradley just kind of had that immediate connection. I just walked on campus, I felt comfortable, and I felt like the people around me really cared about whether or not I decided to come here.
So I'm pretty involved. I'm a part of the Association of Latin American Students. I'm a mentor for the Multicultural Peer Mentor Program. I'm the president of my sorority. I'm also a peer educator for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. I love diversity, obviously. What else? I'm also part of Bradley Fellows like Natalie. And that's all I can think of the moment. So the reason why I chose Bradley was just like Sarah, I was initially undecided, and there wasn't that many schools that I was looking into that had a program or really emphasized when I visit the schools that they could help me like Bradley did. Bradley was like the only school, or really the only school that I found that had like you would have a specific advisor that will help you along your way until you figured out what you wanted to do. And like being a first generation college student, like not that my parents weren't supportive, they just didn't really understand, and having that support and Bradley telling me that they could support me was very important to me. So that's basically the biggest reason. And distance was pretty nice, although I'm only 3.5 hours away. It's nice because when I do get homesick or like there's a family event, I can easily go home. And then my parents, they're still kind of far away that they won't like randomly surprise me like on a weekend. So that's pretty cool.
Do you guys have like a favorite event on campus that happens each year?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess like my favorite event, it would be like during homecoming week. We have something that's called Lighting of the Bee, so it's really cool just to get like everyone on campus to come out, and then they have like a fireworks show and just like the countdown until the bee is lit. And so it was pretty nice. It was pretty nice like getting to go, and like this year they had like it's kind of more like a carnival theme, and so they had like the water guns, and then you could put your name in for a raffle for different prizes, and just like the free cotton candy was awesome, and the free t-shirts too. So that's one of my personal favorite events to go to.
I would say for me, it would be all like the family and like siblings weekend. My parents and like my family have not missed any like weekend since I've been here. But it's kind of cool that they have like events that range from any age. So like my 7-year-old sister can still have a blast, and then like my 17-year-old sister. So that like especially like late night BU is probably like one of my favorites that happens even like year round, and like just like the themed events that happen within late night BU. Do you have one yet?
I think so. Well, there's a really cool program here that's called Campus Outreach, where alumni and other like adults can hang out around campus, and they sort of create different events that get everyone involved. So I've been going to this event called 858, which happens at 8:58 on Wednesdays, and they get different speakers, and there's always cookies and like different drinks like lemonade or like apple cider. So you just get to go and then listen to different people give lectures on different topics and then discuss them, which I think is pretty interesting.
My favorite event since freshman year is called Bee Glow, and basically it's a big paint party, and it's so much fun. It's put on by one of the fraternities. I'm not sure if they did it this year. They did it the last 3 years.
I think they alternate.
Oh,
like
really?
They have a foam and then that.
Okay,
Yeah, I think so.
Foam party is fun too. But paint party is super fun. I remember freshman year, my friends and I were in rehearsal for a musical, and we had a 10-minute break, and we really wanted to go to Bee Glow, and so during our 10 minutes we went out. We didn't tell anybody, and we went and we got drenched in paint, and we had to go back for rehearsal, and we thought that we'd get in trouble, but the director just laughed, and they thought it was funny. So it was great. It's one of my favorite memories. I love Bee Glow.
I realized that when I said that we're in St. James, I didn't really like explain what St. James was. So that can kind of like go into like questions about like housing and how dorm life is. So St. James is available for juniors and seniors, and it's considered off campus, but there's still Bradley owned apartments. And I thought it was a cool transition from like dorm life to like living on my own, because I still have my own kitchen. I finally have my own room again. And it's like a very close walk from campus. So like that's honestly like one of the cool options to living like at Bradley. So there's like the dorm, you have the option of living in fraternity sorority house, the apartments, people live in like off-campus housing. I don't know if anyone has like favorite aspect of like dorm living, or even just like off-campus. I feel you're probably off-campus now.
Well, I'm a freshman, so I currently live in the dorms. I live in Harper Hall. There's several different dorm options, and you can see like tours on our website if you want to see more of what they look like. But Harper's really nice because it's got walk-in closets, so that's one of my favorite features. But I really enjoy living in the dorms, actually. They clean the bathrooms every day, which is more than they've ever been cleaned at my house. And I've met like some of my best friends living on my floor. We all kind of leave our doors unlocked whenever you're in the room, So then if you want to go like hang out with one of my neighbors, like my best friends are like Colleen or Maya, we just go and like open the door and just walk into their apartment, their dorm, and like sit on our futon and hang out. It's really fun. It's kind of like friends in real life.
Yes. I live in a situation very similar to Friends, actually. So I'm also in St. James. I'm like the next building over. And so it's my 2 roommates and myself. We lived there last year too. And this year our 3 best guy friends live right next door. So we get to just knock on the wall and they'll come right over. So we like always jokes. Like sometimes they'll come in, they'll be like, do you have any sugar? With like we think that's a Friends episode, like an actual episode that happened. They'll like ask for something and it's like, oh, it's so awesome. I love it. Great.
Yeah. So this year I'm a junior, and so I'm living at an off-campus house. But my freshman year I lived in the dorms, and then my sophomore year I lived in my sorority house. So you have the option to live in your sorority or fraternity house, and that counts as living on campus, which freshmen need to live on campus like freshman and sophomore year. And then your junior and senior year, you can either like get an apartment here at St. James or Main Street Commons, or lease a house. So me and 5 other girls are leasing a house now. It's still in Fredonia, so I still feel a part of like Greek life, even though I'm a couple blocks down.
Do you explain what Fredonia is?
Oh, yeah, so Fredonia is like where all of our Greek houses are located at. So there you can easily see it from campus. And then there's usually events going on, especially during Welcome Week, with just like the block party and different things like that. But if you ever just want to go check out the houses, you can just walk by. Or if you ever join a house too, they're all located right there, and it's just literally like 5 minutes away, or like to get to one place to the one end to the other.
So you guys have anywhere like that you like to go off campus, like in Peoria, that I should go as a freshman? Where should I go?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, like right now that it's like fall, like Tanner's is like the perfect place to go. Their apple cider donuts are the best, so I recommend it. Yeah. I went and just got like 2 dozen because those are so good. And so it's just like a place that's probably about like 25 minutes away from campus, but it's a little apple orchard, and they have like a corn maze too, and then you can definitely go check out all the different products that they make there. It's like all homemade, and like I don't know, it just reminds me of like Crackle Barrel because I'm from Georgia, so like that's like a popular place. But it's pretty cool just getting to see all like the jams and like spices that they make out of apples, so that's pretty cool. It's like a nice place to go on an empty stomach and taste everything.
I like the riverfront a lot, especially when it's warm. It's so pretty. I remember my freshman year, it was like Easter weekend, and it was a gorgeous, gorgeous weather out. And so we just went down and sat along the lawn, along the river for hours, and it was so nice. There's a bunch to do down there too. There's like museums and restaurants. It's just really nice, especially when it's warm out. I like that.
Of course, shopping. Peoria has like 2 malls, and my favorite one happens to be Grand Prairie, and that's like the outdoors mall. Do you know what that mall is? The Grand Prairie.
I've been to the indoor mall, but I haven't been to the outdoor
Oh,
mall.
okay. That one's better because it has like an H&M. There's like a Marshalls. There is, I think they have like a Old Navy and a bunch of different places. Yeah. So they have everything you need there. So like I love just going there. I just love that they have H&M, to be honest. That's all I ever shop for.
I'm really excited to see the zoo because people keep telling me about the zoo.
Yeah.
But San Diego's like the world famous zoo, so I have pretty high expectations for this.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
The zoo here is like just kind of like a smaller scale, so you can like whenever I went, they were like, oh yeah, it's a lot smaller. So I wasn't like, because I usually go to the Atlanta Zoo, and then whenever I went there, I was actually surprised because they had like a lot more animals and like different exhibits than what I would have imagined. Like when you like drive up to it, you're like, oh, this place is pretty small, but then once you actually start walking around, you're like, whoa, like it's pretty big. But
I feel like that's all of Peoria.
yeah, that's kind of how it happens.
Do you guys ever go to sports events and games on campus?
Oh,
Yeah,
I do.
You're Red Sea too.
Yeah, I'm also interning this semester with the Bradley Athletic Department, so I'm going to be at all the soccer, basketball, and baseball games, so feel free to say hi if you guys are there. But it's just a great way for people on campus to like just get off of campus if you want to go see our men's basketball team play downtown at Carver Arena, or like our women's volleyball and basketball team play right here on campus in Renaissance Coliseum, so it's always nice just to be able to go and come back, and you don't have to worry about rides either because there's shuttles that take you to and from for free. So
I always really like the soccer games because there's like tailgating before.
Yeah.
So everyone like drives out with their cars or their friends. You can even walk there.
Yeah, there's buses too.
Yeah. It's at Shea Stadium, which is like, it's a little bit of a walk, but it's not bad. It's like 10, 15 minutes. And then everyone just like cooks burgers and stuff and hangs out, drinks sodas, and everyone watches the game. And the game is free for students.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my friend's birthdays. It's on the soccer team. So happy birthday, Clark.
Shout out. I just love going to a volleyball. That's like where I go the most, because like, no offense to like soccer, basketball is kind of boring, but volleyball's so intense, and then they get so mad.
Yeah.
When they like, I don't know. I think
like
I just love
fast-paced.
volleyball. Yeah, it's super. I think I like the intenseness of it, so I'm always there for volleyball.
I love volleyball.
Ooh, what about favorite place to eat on campus, or favorite thing that like the student center or center court serves? Because I know mine.
Yeah.
You know,
Go for it.
Go for it. While I think about it.
Center court curly fries are my favorite thing on this planet. When I lived in Williams, which is one of our residence halls, it has a cafeteria in it as well as center court, which is more of a pay-as-you-go diner option. And they have curly fries there, and I had them every single night, which probably wasn't the best idea, but they were so good. And so that's what I miss most about being on campus or living on campus.
Meal plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the meal plan. You really love their dining dollars, and you don't realize it until you don't have like that, and so then you're just like, oh. But it's really nice because you can use dining dollars like anywhere on campus. My go-to place was Chick-fil-A because it's comfort food for me. So I would always get like their chicken sandwich or their nuggets. So that was kind of like my guilty pleasure. And even if I was like on the way to class and it wasn't that hungry, I was like, but I'm gonna be hungry like in 15 minutes. So I'd always still stop by and grab food. And it's so nice because it has like the like grab and go option. So I was never like stuck in a long line and had to like wait to order or anything like that.
For me, I spend a lot of time in the library studying with my friends who live there. It's pretty nice. But there's Stacks, which is a Starbucks affiliate, and they can make you anything that Starbucks can make you. So I've been trying a lot more random types of coffee since I've been here, and it's all part of the meal plan. So, love Starbucks.
My favorite place, I don't even know what the name of it is, but it's like the wraps in center court. Yeah, so you can like make to order your wraps, and they have like different types of wraps. Like I'm pretty sure I tried all the different wraps, like the avocado and the red tomato wrap. I don't know. So I just like the options of the wrap, and then you can get it toasted, and it's so good.
Yeah, they've got awesome paninis there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forget they have other stuff
The smoothies are there too.
Huh?
The smoothies.
Oh, the smoothies.
Yeah, that's like a nice new addition.
Yeah.
Jerry's Juice Bar smoothies are also the best. The ones in Merkin. Oh. After you
I
work.
That line's always long.
Yeah, I used to
But that's
have
how you
a-
know it's the best.
Yeah, exactly. I
Like,
used to have a class in Westlake, and so like it was a lecture class. But before class, because it was like a 10 o'clock class, I would just always go to Markin for a bagel. So when people would be like, "Oh, did you go to the gym?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did go to the gym, but I went for food instead of actually working out." So that was nice because it was just quick and easy, and they were like breakfast and brunch food items are like on point.
So, Joanna, you and Sarah both started out in the academic exploration program. How did you end up deciding what you want to major in?
That's a question.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I can go. So when you're in the program, you kind of have like a class. It's not really. It's kind of like a meeting with like everyone else in the program. And so you kind of take, for the first couple of weeks, it's kind of like grueling just because you're taking like personality tests, interest tests, skills tests, to just see what best fits you. And then right after that, you kind of go more into like the experience of it. So like, I know for my class, it might be different for other people's classes. Whatever majors like matched up with me, I had to do research and actually even interview professors in that department. So I can learn more, because I know like not knowing, I don't even know about many majors, so like that helped a lot. And then I was able to like, I was interested in pre-law from the beginning, but I really wasn't interested in, like, I just assumed they gotta be a political science major. So like that kind of helped too, like realizing like I can do anything, any major to go to law school. So sociology was the first thing that popped up, and it's basically like the study of people and like social interactions. So it's very broad and like relatable with like applicable for everyday life. And then once I did my research too, I realized that I could easily double major in criminal justice because a lot of my classes overlapped. So I took a few criminal justice classes, and they were very interesting. And I love how the criminal justice program is divided up in different departments across campus. So a lot of my classes are not only criminal justice, but they're also history and they're also political science. So I'm getting like well-rounded in all the different systems of the U.S. government, so like the judicial, the executive, the criminal justice. So like that's kind of what I picked my major. How?
When I was going into the program, the class meets for about 6 weeks, twice a week. It's a pass or fail class, super simple. I knew that I'd probably end up studying theater somehow, so I was already involved in the program, and I wanted to find my second major. And just based on what I knew about myself and after taking those like tests, I knew that I'd probably be somewhere in communications, and I'm very creative, so I wanted some kind of creative outlet with people. The ability to design would be really helpful, and so what you have to do in that class is give a presentation on a major. Any major, it's the only assignment of the class. And so I looked into, I think it was television arts and advertising, because those are two things that Bradley offered. And like Joanna said, just do some research. They give you awesome resources that provide you with everything you need to know about any job, essentially. So if I was looking at advertising, it gave me a list of all the jobs that are possible, from copywriter to art director. And then if I wanted to be an art director, it would say, well, this is the degree requirement, this is the potential salary you can make. It gives you all this information. And so when I looked more into advertising, I realized that might be the route I wanted to go, because there's so many paths, creative and business side. And then I went into Com 101, and then I went into my core classes, and I haven't looked back since. I really love it. It's a great program.
Nice. So fall break's coming up, and so me being an out-of-state student, I'm actually spending my fall break here on campus. Are you really spending it here, or are you going home?
I'm not going home. I'm going to go hang out with one of my friends.
Nice.
We're actually going to go
Nice.
to her cousin's wedding.
So casual.
I love weddings.
Yeah. I mean, I usually stay on campus for breaks, and then I go home for like Thanksgiving and spring break and like winter break, because they're just a little bit longer. But the dorms are still open. There's still stuff to do on campus, so don't feel like you have to go home like every weekend or like every like break, because there's always things going on here. I know people who are like a little bit closer to home tend to go home, but it's still nice, and you get to have a break from classes and stuff.
Also, whenever I tell anyone where I'm from, their immediate offers, you can come home with me for Thanksgiving.
Same. That's same.
So,
For fall break, I live in Chicago. I usually go home until Sunday, and then I come back to work with visit day.
Yeah.
Because I love working Columbus Day. I just think it's a really fun day, and it's also really fun to be on campus and not have to go to class. Like it's such a beautiful place, and you're with friends. I love being here when school's like also not in session. School's fun too. But it's just really nice and relaxing. So I always like going home for a few days, and then being able to have like 2 days here where I can just rejuvenate and relax and work a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like the older we get too, like the less like homesick we get as well. Like I'm not going home for a break just because I don't feel like it. Like I just want to chill. Like I have an exam the day we come back.
So
Like,
just the weekend.
no, yeah. So like that's why I'm like I'd rather just study, because if I go home, I'm not gonna do anything. Like my friends are gonna be like, let's go to eat or to the mall. Yeah.
So do you guys have any midterm study tips?
I love Quizlet.
Yeah, me too.
Anytime I get an
Everything.
exam, I just look at my notes, I turn it into a Quizlet,
Me too.
and that's it.
That's nice. I have like a weird study method. So like I'll make my flashcards and I'll be listening to music, but I have to like study with music, and then once I'm like going like through my flashcards, I put one song on repeat, because later it just turns into like background noise, and it kind of has to be like a faster paced song, so that like I go through the flashcards faster. So that's kind of like my study tip. And then like later on, I like get tired of that song because I listened to it like 100 times while I was like on repeat. But that's like kind of how I just go through flashcards, because I'm more of like a visual person, but I also don't like complete silence. So That's my go-to study tip.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's different.
I hate flashcards. So like I make like my own study guide.
Oh.
So like I'll turn like the let's say like a bullet point in my notes, I'll turn it into a question. And like I don't know, like my study like skills or like my study habits are like extensive. Like I do it like a week before and like do piece by piece. I don't know, I'm just crazy with that too. Cause like I'm better at that than like a lot of my classes aren't really memorization either. So like it's understanding concepts. So like that's like the difference within like different departments. I'm not trying to learn, like I don't learn terms, I learn like theories or like research points, so I have to like know more specifics. So that's kind of how I study.
It also gets easier to study if you kind of review it every day, like you were saying. Like I feel like it's best for me when after I take the lecture notes, I'll review them and I'll make sure that I actually understood the concepts, and then later I can ask about them if I didn't.
Yeah. That's usually how I am, because like you can use your laptop in classes too, like to take notes, but I usually just write them down just because it's like muscle memory, and then later whenever I'm like back at the lib or in my house, like I'll type up the notes for that day, so it's kind of like me like repeating it, and just kind of taking a few minutes where it doesn't like slip out of your head.
How do you guys feel like your relationships are with like your professors?
Oh,
or, like,
so cool.
Yeah. We're like on first name basis.
Yeah. Any like specific stories or
So
anything
in the communications department, the professors are super, super cool.
Yeah.
I was telling my parents this year, every single one of my professors is hysterical. Like they're all funny, and it's awesome. That's never like been the case before. They're all so funny. The theater department, it's really personal. You call them by their first name. I call the head of the department Uncle Scott. We're like family. But what's really great about the student-teacher relationships here is that they can really help get you connections and get you jobs. I got to create my own job with the theater department as the marketing and PR person because I just went up to the head of the department and I was like, hey, Uncle Scott, I've been doing this work just on my own for experience. Is there any way that I can get credit for it, like get a practicum credit? And he's like, I'll give you credit. Also, I'll pay you for it. And I was like, great. So it's an hourly job for me, which is awesome. And then I got my internship just because my boss or our boss knows me very well and she knows my strength and weaknesses, so she recommended me for this marketing internship, and that all comes from just getting to know your professors and your bosses. It's awesome.
One of the things that everyone always told me coming to college is that your professors are never going to know your name, and I feel like that's just not true here. Like the amount of times I actually get called on in class by name is probably more than in high school.
Yeah, already.
For me, one of like my professors, she was actually kind of new here, but she was always had like most of the professors have like their open door policy in their office hours. So I was actually waiting to meet with my advisor, who was like the office right next door to hers, and she saw me standing outside in the hallway. So she was like, "Oh, like come on in, let's talk." I almost missed my actual like advising appointment because I was like talking to her, but she was just like, "What do you want to do? Like, what are you involved in?" Like, and I just kind of told her like the past internships I had and kind of like how the internships had been like helping me to narrow down like what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do, and like what I found myself like really passionate about. And so from there we like just started talking, like having a casual conversation about like where I could see myself and like just like my pros and cons and like what I'm like what I fear and like what I want to like gain through like education here, or like through the classes that I've had her in and stuff. So that was like really nice, just getting to talk like on a one-on-one level and not having to address her like by like, "Oh, hi, Professor Antunovich," but she was like, "Oh no, like just call me Dunya," and I was like, "Okay."
She's so cool. I knew it.
So it's really nice that like I have that opportunity here, and it's like they're so welcoming, and I don't know if I would have gotten that if I would have gotten to a bigger school.
Yeah, I know for my two departments, probably there's like 8 professors combined, and I've obviously, like being a senior, I've had them all, and I know there's one professor, I've had her, so it's like 7 semesters, I've had her 5 semesters. Wow. And like I'm on like I have her phone number, like I can text her easily because I had her my freshman year, and like when you're a freshman, you don't know like if you miss class, you have to like let your professor know, you don't know. So like I remember I emailed her because my dad had like an emergency surgery my freshman year. So I like emailed her, like I had an exam, so like I'm like, I can't go to class. She's like, oh, thank you for letting me know, like here's my number if you need anything, like just take it before you come back. So that was cool, and like that was a good way to like continue our relationship as well. So like I don't have her this semester, but like I still see her around campus, and like it's cool that I could just still go to her if I have like any questions about like career or like a material or whatever it is. Yeah.
We actually have a question.
Wow, finally.
From Diane. This is actually, she specifically calls out Sarah.
That's my mom.
Proud parents. What did you think of Bradley when you first visited?
I did not want to visit Bradley, and I regret that so much. I remember I had just completed a summer at another school, just doing theater, and I had the best summer of my life. Aww. And I got home and I was crying. Mom's like, well, pack your bags, we're going to Bradley like tomorrow or in 2 days. And I was not in the mood to visit any college, and she dragged me here. And I ended up coming back twice. I vividly remember visiting Westlake and Markin, which are still my favorite buildings to this day. And our tour guide was so great. It was a gorgeous day. It was August, and it was beautiful, and people were so nice. And I don't remember that visit as much as my second one, because when I found out I got accepted, I knew that I had to come back because I did like it. I just didn't remember what about that I liked. Mm-hmm. And so I came back for one of the admitted student days in April, and people knew who I was. Like, the students here already knew me, and they were like, we've been waiting for you, we can't wait, it's so nice to meet you, and it really seemed like they wanted me here. And my tour guide, Brian Deal, he's awesome, and he ended up, and he was just like, he was my tour guide too. Yeah, he was like the greatest, and I ended up working with him for like 2 years afterwards, and it was just, everything just fell into place, and I couldn't not love it. But I thought Bradley's campus was beautiful when I first came, and the people sold me completely.
Yeah, I think that's like one of my biggest advice about like when you visit college campuses is to visit it before you get admitted or you're thinking about it, and then once you get admitted, because you kind of look for different things too. Like you actually like start to picture yourself like at Bradley or whatever university you visit, like, oh, is this where I'm like would fit in, or what can they offer me now? Because when you first visit like a university, like I know I personally was looking like, oh, is it pretty? Like, how far, like, the dorms from, like, classes, like, just general stuff. But then, like, once you actually visit once again, you look at, like, more in depth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I can definitely agree. I, like, applied to 10 schools, so I was just kind of, like, throwing applications out just to see, like, okay, like, I had narrowed it down to my major, so I applied to those schools that offered it, but my mom was like, you have to apply to in-state schools, you have to, and so, like, I did, and I got accepted. My parents were still pushing for it. Like, when we were driving up to Bradley, my dad was like, you know, I'm not going to be mad if you don't like the school, like, you can be honest, you know, and I was just like, okay, well, let's just give it a try and stuff. And at the end of our tour, I think Brian actually ended up selling Bradley to my dad because he wanted to move here and come here, and I was like, no, but I was, like, so in love with it from, like, that one visit. Whenever I came at like, it was like late March, and so like from that point on I like knew that this is like the place for me, because I just felt at ease and so comfortable. Even though I was like coming to a school where I didn't know anyone, I like knew that this was going to be like a good choice and a good fit for me, just because I knew like it met like what I needed for like my future career and like the classes that I wanted and stuff. So that's kind of why I'm like really happy I actually came and like applied.
Yeah, my parents actually were kind of pushing me to stay in state when I came back to it. Mostly my mom. She was just like, if you stayed, we could probably get a dog.
Pulled that card.
We had a couple like heart-to-heart conversations, and she was like, you know, but we had a couple heart-to-hearts, and it was just like, you know, in the end, it's going to be really tough for me being so far away from you after all these years that we spent together. But if you like, you know, that's where you want to be, and that's like where you think you're gonna thrive, that's where you should go.
Yeah. Kind of going off of that, like, how was everyone's like transition to Bradley?
I was honestly like
especially
really
like state. Like,
yeah. I was honestly like really nervous, but I kind of like kept it in because I knew like I wanted to be here, but I didn't want to like psych my parents out because they were like, okay, we're dropping you off, like we're gone now, and I was just like, okay, like I got this, I'm in my own kind of feeling. Like, I didn't know anyone, but I was like really anxious to get to know the girls on my floor and like get to see like what floor programs we'd have, because I was actually the first person on my floor to move in because of Bradley Fellows. So like I got to move in 2 days early before everyone moved in on like the big day on Saturday. So I was really like alone. And then my RAs, which are the residential advisors, were already moved in, and so they would like go with me to go get dinner, and we would talk, and they were like kind of like hyping up like all the activities that were gonna happen. And so it was really nice to know like that the foam party was gonna happen, and then we were gonna get to do like, we kind of like, there's like an activity like where you threw whipped cream at each other, and it was like all those little things like really helped for me to like ease the transition. And then after like the first few days, like my mom would call me and she'd be like, are you okay? Like, do you miss us? You can tell me the truth. I won't tell your dad, because my dad was like a little bit more heartbroken about me leaving. And I was actually like, no, like I feel really comfortable here. Like I felt fine. I actually didn't like miss them. I know it sounds bad, but like I felt so comfortable here, and I had already moved in, and I was just like ready for classes to start. And so like it was, for me personally, it was like an easy transition. I mean, yeah, the first few days you're nervous because you're just like, whoa, this is like a new chapter in my life. But once you like get started, you kind of just take off, and you kind of forget like, oh, that you're actually homesick or anything.
Yeah.
For me, I think the biggest thing that made me feel at home here was actually the orientation. Like, Joanna's actually an orientation.
I forgot to say that.
Yeah, you're a student aide.
But she's a student aide, which means that she's one of the students that helps run orientation. So, at orientation, they kind of split you apart from your parents if your parents come. And I came with my mom because we're pretty close. And the first time that we had to like go to something separately, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be with like all these people I don't know. But we like played games immediately, and that's actually like the very first game we played at the very first day of orientation is where I met my best friend.
Oh,
It was
My roommate I met at orientation.
yeah, but
Anyway.
it's like those random connections you make with people as soon as they take you apart. And by the time that I had finished moving in and everything, I was kind of like ready for my mom to leave, because it was like she was kind of interfering. I was like, oh no, I want to go hang out with my friends now. But I mean, I still miss my parents. I talk to them a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just nice having that sort of network just come immediately for you.
Oh, when I came in as a freshman, I was cast in the first musical of the year, so I went back for early backs, which is a week or two before school starts. And so it was my roommate, myself, and this other freshman. We're all best friends now. And it was really great to be welcomed into like such a family. We were really taken under the upperclassmen's wing, and honestly, like, it shaped so much how I went through my years, how I am as a senior now, like to freshman. It was the best possible thing that could have happened to me, and every day I feel so lucky to have been in that position. So it was a really easy transition. Also, I had been to sleepaway camp for 6 years, so I was very used to being away from home. So I've never felt homesick, but I am ready to go home this weekend. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah. Well, kind of. Honestly, like my transition kind of sucked, because it was weird, because like I was so ready to go away to college. Like all summer, I'm like, Bradley in like 100 days, Bradley in 63 days, whatever. And then once I was here, I got really homesick for some reason, and I think like two of the biggest reasons was I got really close to my sister. She's 4 years younger than me, so I got really close to her like my senior year, so leaving her was hard. And then I had a boyfriend back home. I still have him, so long distance works. So that was kind of hard being away, and like we're able to manage it now. And I think what helped my transition was getting involved, because like my first semester I would just sit in, like I was used to just going to class, and like I would just sit in my room, come back, like take 2 naps a day, like didn't do anything, studied like really late, and like getting involved really took my mind off of things. And like I didn't go home as often as I did my second semester. I didn't go home as often as I did my first semester, and like now I'm not even going home. Like that just shows how much I've changed throughout my experience here, and like I want to stay here and like do so much for the campus.
I know with like the homesick thing, like I know usually like at least once a month there's always an opportunity for you to like see your parents, like in August like your parents drop you off and you move in, and then in September there's always like parents or siblings weekend, and then October you have fall break, and then November you have like Thanksgiving break, and then December Christmas break. So there's always a time to see them, so you don't have to think that you're going to be like stuck on campus for 3 months straight without any opportunity to go home, or that you're going to be like super busy on the weekends and stuff like that. So like thinking about that was kind of easy for me to like count down the days too. So I was like, okay, I'm going home for Thanksgiving break and Christmas break, and like little things like that really help too.
Well, looks like our time is up. Thank you to everyone that tuned in.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be doing this more often. And if you have any other questions, obviously we're always here. Don't forget to follow. We're all on Inside Star or Inside Bradley, so you can follow us there and ask us more questions there. But
Thank you.
thanks for